The reason why I'm laughing, ladies and gentlemen, is because, like, I don't really know what I can say in this video, right? At least tonight, in this Examining England video, I actually have some stuff to talk about. It was a slightly more exciting. There was a bit more intrigue and excitement in that game. A very controversial one, and plenty of questions that we and us as England fans are looking to answer. Firstly, was it a penalty? A very controversial decision. VAR and all of that shenanigans. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, how sick of you are you going to be of VAR come the end of the World Cup? That is the first kind of major question on today's agenda. The second question is this formation good enough to actually take into a World Cup tournament? It looks like Gareth Southgate is playing with a back three. And thirdly, and kind of the most important question, last but by no means least, shall I say, and that question is, are England actually any good? I don't know. I don't know any of these questions. But first and foremost, what I will say, ladies and gentlemen, is welcome back to Examining England. I almost said this is Analysing us, so that'd be a little bit awkward to say, ladies and gentlemen. But welcome back to Examining England, the second one of these Examining England as we build up to the World Cup. I did one on Friday. Not only did I give you guys a match preview, but I gave you a match review of the game against Holland. And on Tuesday evening, we have England up against Italy at Wembley Stadium. Oh, it was a fairly... there was plenty to this game to discuss and dissect and get into. First of all, what I will say is that the overall performance, did England play particularly well? Well, yeah, I kind of think that we did. You know, it was a very, very slow start. It was sloppy. Italy had a couple of decent chances right at the start, and we looked a little bit shady and, a little bit, questionable at the back. But then we sort of got ourselves into it. We started going into the gears. And some of the link-up play and some of the ways that we were passing it around, the way that we were creating chances, the way that the midfield was kind of, working, and in that partnership relationship with the wing-back, everybody was pushing up, like we were pressing. And normally what I've seen so many times with England is that they just absolutely just hoof it upfield. Like, they're not creative, they don't pass it, they don't create space, in the the good way of actually, intertwining triangles in the middle of the park, opening space, taking out centre backs and getting themselves into space. They're making, accelerating runs into the box. Normally what England do is they get the ball and then right, they literally just hoof it. They hoof it right the way up the field. But we were actually not doing that. And what's good in playing, when you're playing with a back three, it gives you freedom and it gives you space and it opens up doors for players to get into kind of, accelerated and advanced positions, right? And we made Italy pay, really, particularly, with the pace of, Jamie Vardy, Raheem Sterling. Jamie Vardy's goal was absolutely excellent. Very, very clever. There was a slight act of controversy even then, because when Italy didn't just make one foul in England's build-up to their first goal, but they made two fouls. And was the ball stationary? It has to be stationary in order to play a quick free kick. There were some kind of questions as to that the ball wasn't stationary. I don't actually think it was. I think we actually got away with that one, ladies and gentlemen. But the goal was given nonetheless. We got VAR implemented, and the referee, I think, had a brief look at it and said, yeah, the ball was stationary, even though I don't think it was. It was a really, really hard decision to call, but Jamie Vardy slots it into the back of the net to put England 1-0 up inside the first half an hour. And then from then on, it was a kind of controlled game. It was a typical England performance, like the kind of games where we get the lead and then we just sit onto it. We try and, quench and clench a couple of goals here and there, but we just fail to break them down. We keep hold of the ball. It's a relatively comfortable night. Italy had a couple of chances here and there, and a couple of their great moments. I mean, their best player tonight was Insigne, the guy that scored the equaliser for Italy. We'll get on to the penalty in just a couple of moments, but all in all, it was a fairly decent performance. As I said, Italy had a couple of hearing chances, and, for us, we opened the doors a couple of times, and we defended reasonably well, a couple of hairy moments, but then the penalty happened, and looking at VAR, I'm not sure. It's one of those decisions, and we're going to get plenty of those in the World Cup, particularly with VAR being, the major standpoint in question. And as Clive said, it was literally like one of those games. You could be like, was this a decision? Wasn't it? Was it a penalty? Wasn't it a penalty? We give you 3 lifelines, ladies and gentlemen. It was literally, it looked like a game, and I mean, there was contact. I'm not, don't get me wrong, there definitely was contact here, and, I feel bad for Tarski, or I don't really know how to say his name. Is it Tarski? Let me just say, the guy that plays for Burnley, let's just say, and, there was minimal contact. It did look a little bit soft, but then again, if there's contact in the box, if you get the ball but you also take out the man in the process, it constitutes as a penalty. But anywhere else on the pitch, it isn't given as a foul. I'm not sure. The referee had a look at the decision through VAR and then gave it as a penalty, really. And it's one of those decisions, like, you know, with the naked eye you have to make that decision, but it's the same kind of process with VAR, and that's why I think VAR is kind of, you know, a little bit wasted, because it's still, you know, even though you've got technology helping you and giving you, you know, a more insightful, you know, look into a controversial decision, like, you know, from the naked eye, it's really hard to pinpoint a decision that happens so quickly that it sometimes is just impossible for us as humans to look at it. When we've got VAR to help us make that decision, but we can still get it wrong. You know, it's not like we're controlled by robotics. It's not like the referees are controlled by robotics. You know, like, say, for example, when you're playing FIFA, you know, the referee's not human. You know, there are kind of, you know, stuff that are built into the game that if you foul someone and it comes up on the computer that it's a foul, it is given as a foul, regardless of where it was or wasn't. You know, and it's the same thing with a human. You know, the referee makes the decision, he looks at the VAR decision, he gets, you know, assistance from the VAR team, but ultimately he makes the final call. So you're still going to get decisions that could go your way or not. You know, it's the same thing. You're getting the same thing out of it, whether you've got VAR helping you or not. So it's one of those things where I look at it and say, it was a soft challenge. I can see why it was given as a penalty, but I can also see why it just was. It was a controversial decision. It was one of those that I can't really pinpoint whether it was a penalty or not. But Insigne steps up and slots it in, and then it was kind of 5 minutes of really exciting football. And I've criticised England on many occasions; they do not excite me one bit. But in that last 5 minutes, England were going for it. Italy had a couple of really good chances, and you know, it was one of those games that gives Gareth Southgate much more to think about now. And we are really now getting to the crunch time. Like, he will be announcing his World Cup squad very, very soon. I think he announces it in May, and then we've got 2 more international friendly game kind of warm-up matches, and then the World Cup gets underway. And you know, also what I'd say is looking and watching both these games against the, you know, Netherlands and then tonight against Italy, I'm still not totally convinced by the back three. You know, I do think against a better side, we are far too vulnerable. I mean, tonight we had Trippier, who can play in a wing-back role, happy with that, but we had Jesse Lingard, who was playing almost as a wing-back, but he was getting forward. So, you know, you have a good team that can cut you open and penetrate you. You know, we've almost got, you know, a centre-back line. You know, yes, we've got Eric Dyer, who can fit and move into a back four, but it's still, you can still get exposed, you can still get caught out. I'm not totally convinced. I'm pretty sure after now that he's played a back three in 2 of these international friendly matches, I'm pretty sure Gareth Southgate is going to go with that and he's going to play with a back three. As I said, he needs to get consistency going. So if he's happy of doing this, he needs to maintain it, but he has to work and ensure that everybody knows their job, because it's a specialised formation, and you know, in truth and in kind of the most, you know, logical sense, you need specialised players to actually do that. Whether Gareth Southgate can help the players that have not necessarily played in this formation get better. I mean, you've got players such as Oxlade-Chamberlain. He played as right wing back for Arsenal. You know, Kieran Trippier plays as, you know, a wing back. Kyle Walker is a right back, but he can play in the centre. He's quick. John Stones is your centre back with Manchester City. He's played there before. So we haven't got players that are absolutely alien to playing in this formation. However, it's one of those things that, you know, if you get it right, it works absolutely tremendously, but get it wrong and you look like an absolute fool and an idiot. So, you know, happy with the performance. I can't really be too cross with England. It was a controversial night, full of controversial decisions. You know, both teams play well. You could maybe argue that a draw was fair. Maybe England, you know, were just slightly deserved it a little bit more. Maybe they were, you know, and they had the edge of Italy. But it was one of those games where a draw is fair result. It doesn't really affect anything. You know, it's just one of those friendly matches. But it gives Gareth Southgate plenty to ponder. And for us as England fans, it gives us plenty to ponder. But also it gives us an inkling into what we are going to see and expect in the World Cup, which finally gets underway. But I'm so happy now, because the international football is over. We are back this weekend with the Premier League, and Easter Sunday is when Allies and Arsenal returns. I've missed it so much, and I will say right now, because that's going to be the end of my match review, I will say I've had an absolutely shit day. I've got a video coming out Thursday explaining to you guys all about it before a big Easter weekend. I'll talk all about that in the next couple of days, so you know, do bear with me on that. But this is going to be the end of the video, and this is going to be the end of examining England for now. If you've enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around it. It really does mean mean the absolute world to me, the support that you guys are showing. I really, really do appreciate it, particularly when having an absolutely shit day as well. And the next exam in England will probably be in June, I think. I think the next kind of international. Let's have a brief look, ladies and gentlemen, just before I leave you. So England, we look at the fixtures. So their next fixture is on the 2nd of June. So I'm going to be rejoining examining, and I'm going to be probably doing a preview for the England-Nigeria game. We've then got England against Costa Rica, and then the World Cup gets underway. Like I said, I've got lots of World Cup content planned and coming for you in the future. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Check out my various content as well. And until next time, this is DJ Bagpuss signing out, and I shall speak to you later. I will rejoin you in terms of football on Sunday as the Premier League returns for and analysing Arsenal as we face Stoke at the Bet365 Stadium or the Britannia Stadium, whatever one you want to call it. Until next time, take care, and I shall speak to you all soon.